What's up? How's it going, everyone? I wanted to talk a little bit about like that pattern of controlling. So the flow of control from, the 1,000-year trend, thousands of year trend of controlling more and more of your environment, and the and then the regulations that go along with that. So as you want to control more and more of your household and your environment, you're actually demanding more and more regulations and more rules and more laws and more just means of control from above. It's like demand and supply, but the people demand it, and the people demand that level of control from governments. And so we're the cause of that. We're the cause of more and more laws, of more and more regulations, of more and more because people are more and more controlling of their environments, and they want more control. They want more order. They want more security. They want more control. And so I think that's where the problem lies. We know that, and it's weird because all the countries want to become like these countries, like the developed countries. But once they're here, if you come from one of those countries, you want to go back. And there's kind of like two ways in your heart. Like it's like you want to go back for the people, but you want to stay for the money. And it's just a really weird thing. But you can really see that contrast when you've lived in a more underdeveloped country and a more developed country. The underdeveloped countries have that human element, that community element, that people seem to need each other more. People seem to, and when you need each other, it's kind of like you just have more of you just need people more, and you have to be more with people. You can't remain isolated, because there's a necessity to help each other out and to it's a different lifestyle, and we see that in the 1,000-year trend. So when they say things have gotten better and better, I don't really believe that, because they've gotten better in the economic sense. But have they gotten better in the human sense, and in the community sense, and in the mental health sense? I don't think so. I think that it's gotten a lot worse in that regard. Now, it has gotten better, though, because you still do see that necessity in underdeveloped countries, the necessity to be together, sometimes becomes like they want to break free from that, because it's kind of like sometimes it's forced, because you need others, and it's not like you want them, but you need them. And so that's why everyone's coming towards the development. Hopefully we can return to that more humanist. What do I mean by humanist? Just people are not as isolated. People want to commune more. People want to get together more. People have a better time together. People the family is more united. The family is not as isolated. The extended family exists. There's more, um, friendships, things like that. That is what I mean by more humanist. And then as development occurs, it's just less and less because you don't need each other as more. You're self-reliant and you're just busy in your own things. And somehow people just become isolated, more and more isolated. Now, it doesn't have to be that way, but it's just a general trend. And I know it's the same in other countries. Like I was speaking to this, I used to tutor English, and I spoke to some Egyptians who would go to Saudi Arabia to make money. And it was kind of the same. Like Egypt was poor, Saudi Arabia was rich. They go over there just to make money, but they always want to come back. And the life was better in Egypt, like on a social level, but on a monetary level, it was better in Saudi Arabia. So it's very similar with levels of income, increasing levels of income and of development. But the people, so whenever we criticize, over regulation and over control of the government and over, it's kind of like our own creation, and I'm convinced of that. I'm convinced that we are the creators of this world we live in. But how to reverse it? It's hard. And I know the new covenant is like something that I believe in. I don't know if it'll ever become something prominent or not. I certainly hope so. But it is one way. It's one way to freedom, because we've lost our freedom. And over regulations, over all these laws, all these, you become confined. You become just a chicken in a chicken coop, or whatever you want to call it, or you become a bird in a cage, and with security, if you want, and with economic stability, but in a cage nonetheless. And that's how it kind of rolls out. But how do we get out of the cage is I think through the new covenant. Because all of these regulations, if there's no demand for it, they'll start coming down. And that's the only way is just to not cooperate with, it's not cooperate, but just not participate in those things, in over controlling everything. So just that small thought today. We love God, we love all people with all our heart. We in the field, all day in the field of consciousness, sometimes we're in negative thoughts, especially when we're forced to work hard and when you're in stressful situations, you become negative, and the field of consciousness starts becoming like you're participating in the field of consciousness in a negative way, and you're creating more and more negative atmosphere in that field of consciousness. And at least in my world, when I get off of work, then I just transform. And I know it shouldn't be that way, but that's just how it's been for me. I'm not an ideal person, you know. I have a lot of defects. You know, I used to be a very timid, very shy, very fearful, very, you know, that type of boy growing up. And I really noticed it a lot, that I have a lot of subconscious fears and things like that I've learned to overcome a lot through my spiritual journeys and stuff like that. And I know obviously they still exist, and you know, we all have our subconscious like traumas and things that we deal with on a daily basis, but we try and overcome them. And the best way to overcome those is through God, loving God, which is, I think it's just kind of a love for life, like it's like, because you're connected with this something, right? It's hard to explain that, but you have like this relationship with that guide, with that force. And whenever you think of God, I always love God. Like it's a pure love. I don't know why. I know a lot of people have like hatred and anger towards God. I never really felt that though. I don't know why. Because I know that all the negativity is like here. It's like on this plane or something. But God is just so much more beyond that. So I'm glad I never got into that, like hatred or like rebellion towards God. I did actually get into it once, like purposefully, when I was, it was like maybe 20 years ago. And I kind of was in a really negative, like rebellious type, like mindset. And I just kind of took it all the way down, like I used to do with everything, take it to the extreme. And it led to really dark places, you know, like evil type thoughts and things like that. But it still was never hatred towards God. So I think that's key to develop that relationship with God. That, like, to not hate God, to not have anger with God. Because somehow that is like yourself, I think. Like it's God external, and it's like that, it's that whole, it's just the creator of everything, it's the whole. But that also is a reflection of you, I think. Like if you're angry with God, it's usually because you're angry with yourself, I think. And I don't feel that towards myself much. I know I'm not good in many aspects. I know I do a lot of bad things sometimes. I'm not like as servicial as I should be. I'm not as thoughtful as I should be. I'm not as, I'm just a normal person. But I've learned to love myself, and I think I always have, which is kind of a good thing. And I've always loved God. And so I like for example, I've never been suicidal. I know there's a lot of people out there who've contemplated it, or who have gone down that mental path, and a lot of people have done it as well, but I've never really gone down that road. And I know it's a dark place, and it's and a big prayer goes out to all of those people, that are in that situation, that they don't value life, that they don't. And I always think that you do have to serve someone. I think that's super important. Even if it's just one person, or even a thing, or an animal, or something. Nowadays, there's a lot of people that live alone, that are lonely, and they're self-serving, and I think that leads to a lot of darkness sometimes. And so you have to serve. I think service will lead you to a place where you can say, you know what, I think I've done a good job. I've served someone. I've helped someone. I think I've helped someone along in this life. And that creates a lot of self-love. What you do to others, you do to yourself. And what you do to yourself, you do to others as well, So we can't be hard on ourselves either. And that's what the main thing we're doing nowadays is we're being really hard on ourselves. I spoke, I think, yesterday about a lot of like ambition and that ego just going crazy. Now there's a lot of follow your dreams, do what you love, don't settle for anything less than what you absolutely love to do in life. And I think that creates a lot of pressure on people. Because let's say you love to paint, or you love to, sing, or to play sports, and, that's what you love, and you're trying to do that for a living, to make a living off of painting, or it just creates a lot of pressure on people, and I don't think necessarily that's the best way out. I don't think that's the best way to freedom necessarily. I think love is the best way to freedom. Now, can you love if you're doing something you don't love? It's a hard question, but I think the answer is you can. The choice to love is something that you can always practice on a daily basis, no matter what. There's people in prison that practice it. Why wouldn't you not be able to? So you don't have to be doing what you love to do in order to be fulfilled in life. What you were meant to do in life is to love. That's what you were meant to do. And if you can achieve that in your heart and in your soul, if you can surrender, let go of everything that's not allowing you to love, whether it's all that ambition, whether it's whatever it is, if you can let go of that stuff, or you can ask yourself, what is not letting me love? Like what belief, or what what thing, when I say, okay, I'm gonna love, and then you try to, and then what's preventing that? If you can let go of those things and try to love, I think that's the baseline for you achieving what you want to achieve anyway. So even if you're trying to achieve something, I think the baseline is always doing it with love, or doing anything with love. The means by which you do things is super important. The means, do things with love. Do things with just with caring for yourself and caring for others. And so I I think you can do that. I think you can become fulfilled with just love in your heart. I think that's one of our basic human rights. It's our only human right. That's what I wrote in The Choice to Love. The first book I wrote is your only human right is the right to choose to love. And it's the only right that you need to become fulfilled. Because that's all that you are, and that's all that where you come, that's where you come from, and that's where your destiny is. That's where you're going. And some people always think, and they mistakenly think, okay, I'll do this and then I'll love. I'll do A and then I can become happy. I'll do B, I'll do C, and then I will have peace in my heart. I will do X and then I will relax and retire and be fulfilled. And it never seems to work out that way, I don't think. I think first you have to find that love in your heart. Let everything go and have the love in your heart, and the love will guide you towards what you really want. Because sometimes the spirit that's guiding you towards whatever you think you want is not the right spirit anyway. And so once you gain the right spirit, once you gain the spirit of love, and you let go of everything else, that's the surrender. That's the lay down your life, your beliefs, right? It's the surrendering of all the other stuff. Then love can come in. And then and then love will guide you towards where you want to go. But let love be your guide. Let love be your light. Let love be your, what do you call it on the boat? The sail, your sail. And just take it wherever it leads you. I think that's the best thing we can do in life. And I think a lot, the ambition is really eating at people, because I see a lot of people with like dreams that have failed and things like that, and they're bitter and they're and they're unhappy and they're angry. And that's so much bullshit, I mean, you wanted to do something, but why are you allowing that thing to take away what's so beautiful inside of you? Like, don't let anyone take away what is yours, which is love, Don't let anyone take that away from you. Not anything, not anything you set out to do when you were young or whatever. It doesn't matter. God has given you something, a gift, that you can choose to do it and practice it and feel it and be it whenever you want to. So take advantage of that. And I'll see you guys